Well, hey guys, welcome back to Waters Family Homestead. Well, you're seeing something you don't normally see here, but let me open the door. All three turkeys are in here. Sue is in here, and I didn't count, but a bunch of hens. So they chose which roost they went to. I didn't. But on this pen, I got the 7 teenagers and 4 adult hens and Junior. So why I'm doing that tonight is I don't want them running loose tomorrow when I get home, and you're not going to chase them back into your pen during the day. There's just too many of them. But I'm planning for more baby chicks, or possibly separating the turkeys, whatever. I want this third pen to be able to be used. Like if I want to breed Sue, I want only him with those hens. If I want to breed Junior, I want only him with those hens, and so on. So, or if I get more baby chicks, they can do that. But what I decided to do, and I've got all the materials I need, but I went ahead and started. And if you can see, I'm framing up for moving this door, it's 30.5 inches, to this opening here. And I'm going to get it squared up and get it cut, get the metal cut out, and move this door from this side to this side. So what that will allow me to do is I'll put some wire here where the door used to be. If I want all the chickens out at the same time, I can just open this gate the way I've got it, the way it stays open most of the time. And the chickens can run the entire fruit orchard, well, at least the part they're included in, and the old run area here as well. But if I want to separate them, like I've got babies that I don't want to get beat up, but I want to let them scratch a little bit and learn to come in and out and all of that, I will have a door when I finish right here in the middle of this wall, and the gate will still close, plenty of room. It closes about over here, so I can open that door and allow the chickens out of, or whatever's in this pen, out into the fruit orchard to scratch, or the whole pen. But this way they can see each other through the wire, they can acclimate to each other, and yet I can still keep them separate. Like if Sue's being a butthole, I don't want to separate him from all the hens. He does his job. Not Sue, Junior. But he picks on Junior when Junior's trying to do his job. And there's plenty of hens for 2 roosters. Since I lost Blue, since we took Blue to freezer camp, that's the only 2 roosters I've got. So my plan is to separate off this pen on this end to where I can have a completely separate flock from the rest if I need to, or if I want to. And that way they've got plenty of run area at this end and plenty of run area at that end. And if it got to the point I needed 3 different flocks or whatever, I could come in right on this side of the door and just run some fence right across here and put a gate in it. And that's a possibility, but whatever chickens have, this middle section would not have a huge area to scratch, but it would be an option if that's what I wanted to do. Or I could come off at an angle and run over or something like that to separate them out that way. But either way, that's what my idea is. I've had the lumber. I just haven't gotten started on it with all the land clearing and stuff y'all been seeing I'm doing. And I'm just about done with this end of it back here around the chicken pen. So I want to go ahead and get this door done. And it's not going to cost me anything because I've already got screws. I've already got the 2x4s. I had some 16-footers up there. I got some 2x6s too if I need them. But I've got plenty of the wire left over to close up the old hole where the door is right there. And, Sawzall and a blade will cut through that tin and that metal there like butter. It's going to be noisy, but it'll cut through it pretty quick. So I'm going to square up that frame tomorrow and make, so the door will fit it properly, and then get it screwed to the metal securely all the way up and down so that it doesn't flop around a lot when I cut it. And I'm just going to take the Sawzall and cut that out all the way up and down, and I'll reattach all the wire around and so on, so nothing can get in or out. It would be nice if, and I'm planning on leaving that door there. I don't need 2 doors on one chicken coop. So I'm planning on using that door and putting it over here. But I could build another. I've got enough wire left over from the last fencing job that I could just build another door and leave that one there. But there's really no need in that. So why not close it off with wire and open up this side? I think it's going to make a lot more sense. And I do want to get more chicks. I've been wanting some, goodness gracious, I'm drawing a blank on the name now. There's a lot of other channels out there having with the little puffy hairdo. They're supposed to be really sweet, and they're supposed to be very, very prone to want to lay and hatch eggs. So that's kind of what I'm hoping. I can get some of those chickens. They lay smaller eggs, but they like to hatch. They like to set. So I'm hoping to get some of those and get them in this last pen. Maybe even some Rhode Island Reds to add to it, so I'll have more laying hens. But I'm definitely wanting some of those that are very prone to laying, and I can get them in here and separate them from the flock until they learn each other through the fence, and let them get out here and scratch. And then when I'm ready to integrate them all together, maybe they kind of learn this is their pen, this is their pen, then hopefully I can leave the doors open like I've been doing for the last several months and allow them to mingle with all of them. And that's my idea. So I didn't want to do a whole drawn out long video for you guys. This is earlier in the week. I've already uploaded videos for all of early this week up until Thursday, I think. So this video is probably going to be extra for Friday or Saturday, something like that. But I'm going to pause it here because the sun got dark on me, and I started late. But the sun got dark on me, so I'm going to pause it here, and then I will, if I get able, to finish it tomorrow, the next day, then I'll record the finished product, what's going on, and how it looks, and get y'all's opinion on it. So I appreciate y'all watching. I'll see you back when I get back onto the project. Okay guys, well, one project always turns into 2 or 3 more. So while I was working on moving the door on this end pin, which I've got moved and hung, I've just got to finish attaching the chicken wire and close up the old opening with chicken wire. I was like, well, this ain't going to work because I got to have 2 gates. Because if I close that off, it opens this. So it's got to be opened or closed off. And I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But I do have another 8-foot gate over there. I've got another gate the same size as this, which is longer than what I need. Oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm doing. But I went ahead and adjusted the hinges on this to keep it from scrubbing, because it scrubbed the ground. I had to pick it up to move it and close it. Now it'll swing all the way over to the chicken pen. It's got 2 or 3 inch gap up under it. Adult chicken won't go through it, but baby chicks would. But that's okay. It's, I don't let the babies out to scratch until they get of age anyway. But you see, I've got the door moved to this end of the chicken pen. It actually works. I've just got to get my mess cleaned up and get the wire. Let me close it. Might clean the glass on these things one day so they can see out, but I went ahead and moved the lock. Made a new one actually, but got it moved. The door closes. It's, got less than 1/2 inch gap at the bottom and top. Looks pretty good for a chicken pen. Top hinge is crooked. I'm tired of fighting it, so I'm gonna leave it that way. It works. But once I get the wire reattached to the studs and stuff, and it'll be closed in to where, you know, I want it anyway. It's not really going to matter. I do leave the doors open, but I don't want to have issues with it, so might as well finish it right. As far as this gate goes, I'm going to either have to use this gate to close that end off and add another gate, so it'll be double gated, or put another, you know, another gate on that side that'll hang from the chicken pen back to here, which I'm not real fond of. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet. I do have another gate this size. I've got an 8-foot gate. I got a 3.5-foot gate, you know, a walk-through gate. So I can make it work, whatever it is I got to do. I just got to figure out what I want to do. But I'm going to pause this video again. Looks like it may rain on me here in a few minutes. And if it does, you know, then I'll be done for the night. So this is day 2 of the chicken pen remodel. And that pen was throwed together in a couple hours. We didn't even break out a tape measure, y'all. We just done it. So it ain't nowhere even close to trying to be square. But that door frame is. I used tape measure on it and screwed it in place and all that. So that's fine. I got the metal cut out with the Sawzall. Lord, did that make a lot of noise. But either way, I'm on the road to having a pen with its own run separate from the other 2 pens in the main chicken run. I just got to figure out how I'm going to separate the 2 and keep them in here. So y'all got any bright ideas? I'm sure you'll see this after the job is done, but let me know. I appreciate y'all. We'll see you on the next part. All right, guys. I'm going to show you the finished product. Remember, I didn't spend any money to do this project. Had a little leftover lumber, some leftover wire, all of that. So I'm going to flip this thing around and show y'all what I did to the chicken pen and the chicken run. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. I was looking at the chickens, wasn't looking at the camera. Alright, so the way it works, I don't know how many of y'all have seen my early videos with the original chicken run, but I had a board, and it's got 2 bent nails in it, just like this. One at the top and one at the bottom. And all I did was attach it to the wire. Attach the wire to the old pin there. And you can grab this board, like so, and come over. And I use my foot to push on the back of the board, and it just comes over and hooks on to the existing fence, like so. And that separates the chicken run area to where you've got all this area for one flock and this area for the other flock. So I closed up the old door area where we took the door off. And I framed up and moved the door to that side. So I'm going to open this back up because most of the chickens are on that side. And it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but it's not complicated. So when you want to open it, just come back, and anywhere on the wire, it'll hook. And it just stays there out of the way. Chickens can run through the whole thing. But if I wanted to, if I get more chickens, see the turkeys flying and playing. If I get some that I need to separate from the rest, now I've got a pen that I can do that. They can go into this last pen, and with the door on this end, they've got a completely separate area. They can't be picked on if I've got one that's sick or got babies or whatever. I'm going to put some OSB down here across, about 12 inches up or so, whatever I've got scrap, so that the baby chicks can't go through the wire, because they will when the, first couple weeks But I've got all this framed out. It's attached. The door works. And I, made my fancy lock for when I close the door. And it keeps them, isolated if I want to do that. So if I've got a hen that wants to get broody, which never happens with me, why I don't know, I can put her in there and let her hatch those eggs and have some baby chicks. Or if I buy more baby chicks and I need to keep them separate from the rest, there's no holes in this around it. Once I put the OSB up on this side here, they won't be able to get through. They can be in that pen and get big enough to be mixed in with the flock. So once they get big enough, they can see each other through the fence, so they'll get to know each other a little bit without actually being able to be picked on by the rest of the chickens. So I'm pleased with it. My son helped me finish it this afternoon. And, I don't need anything else for the chickens. Now I've got one that can be separate from the rest of the run. So whatever I'm raising, once they get big enough that they can't go through the fence, I can open that door and let them come out in this side of the chicken run area, the fruit orchard side, and let them scratch and go back to their roost, and keep them separate until they're old enough to mix with the rest of the flock. So that way I don't have to keep them in a little kennel inside the pen with the rest of them and all that. So I just think it's going to be better for the chickens this way. And I was talking with my son, we worked on this, reclaiming this area, this land behind the chicken pens. So what I'm going to do here is, like, I've got this corner post for the fence. I was actually leaning on the corner post. So I don't need it to be real tall, but I'm going to put board up from the top of the pen all the way across to the top of this post. And I'm going to put another post down there, possibly one in the middle, and run some boards across. And I can put metal on this side or OSB, whatever, just to block the wind, and another piece on that side, and then extend all this metal out to where the goats will have a shelter that they can go to. And the reason I want it right here where the chicken pen is, we do get a week worth, literally a week of really hard freezes every few winters. And I know I will need to give them some heat. So this way I can run that temperature sensitive receptacle that I've got, or plug that I've got, that I plug all the lights in for the chicken pens, and it comes on at 45 degrees, or comes on at, I think, 35 degrees, and then it turns back off when the temperature gets above 40 or 45. So that way the chickens will have that bringing their heat light on for heat, and I can also put one in or two in the goat pen side and give them one for heat if they need it. And it's right here, water's only 10 feet away. All I gotta do is put a Y on that faucet and run a hose back here, so they'll have their own water, or I could tee into the water line and come back and have a faucet back here that I could turn on. But I don't want one down that the goats are gonna rub on and tear up and all that good stuff. So it's gonna have to come through the wall or whatever, so it can be anchored and protected from the goats. But it just makes sense to have this area right here as the shelter for the goats. And then they'll be able, of course, to run all the way down to the end once I get that dog penning all down, and all the way down past the end of the chicken run. All that open area back there should all be goat pen once I get it fenced in. So I've done a lot of videos on that. I appreciate all the comments and y'all watching those. It's been a challenge trying to get this done. I've still got a lot left to do as far as cleaning the property line to get fence up, and taking the old dog pen down so I can get that cleared and fenced. So there's a lot of work left to do before I get goats, but at least I've got a huge portion of the work done. And I also managed to get this small project done for the flock, for the turkeys and the chickens and whatever else I get that may come in here with them. So I thank y'all for watching. I've got, I don't remember, 3 or 4 different parts of video that I need to go put together to make one for you guys. And this is probably going to come out either Friday or Saturday for you guys, and it's going to be a little longer, or has been for y'all, than my normal off upload days, but I don't want to save it until Monday because I know I'll do some video recording this weekend, and I don't like to get too far ahead because it kind of gets mixed up when I get in there, try to edit parts and all that. But Sweet Pea's up on top of the barn. I don't know why. She just does that sometimes. But I appreciate y'all watching. All of you that have subscribed to the channel, thank you very much. Those that hit the thumbs up, I really appreciate that as well. All us small channels try to make good, wholesome content for you guys that's family friendly. And, you know, I try really hard for that, and I know a lot of other channels do. And the one channel I've been trying to remember the name of for the last several videos is Heartland HQ with Dink and Tank. And they watch my videos, they comment on them quite often. We are different type videos, but they're really nice people. And, you know, it may be something you're interested in. Go check out their page. And then, of course, One Day at a Time Farmstead. It's another smaller channel about my size. They don't raise their animals for livestock. They're just kind of like a sanctuary. So, you know, something y'all may be interested in. And CNC Farm, you know, she's doing farming as far as raising food, vegetables and all that, plus doing chickens, and I'm not sure what else. So there's quite a few other smaller channels that could really use you guys' support, and we all would truly appreciate it. So I'm going to say that one more time. Thank y'all very much. If you have not subscribed, please consider doing so. It's absolutely free. Y'all remember what I always tell you. Jesus Christ loves you, and so do I. Y'all be safe. Be prepared.